We thank you very much indeed, Mr. Andre Hugh of AFD. And what an exciting day it has been for all of us today. It has been inspiring. It has been innovative. Is a novel area of field for the DBN lecture series, the inaugural one for that matter. And the hall has remained as it was when we walked into this room. I'd like you to individually assess yourselves with a round of applause to say, I was here, I made it, I stayed through. From the questions to the panelists to the speakers, we have had a truly excellent afternoon. And permit me to say that I've listened to all of this, and it has been truly inspiring for me, but I've met quite a number of people in the entrepreneurship area, especially the millennials, and what I find usually is there's a challenge with writing. You might want to look at that. Writing proposals is a big, huge challenge. And a lot of times funders just go away because they just can't put it together. They know what they want to say, but writing is a critical area that must be looked at. Dressing appropriately is a critical area that must be looked at. And how to access and manage media and communications is an area that must be looked at. And I think that rounding that up is an area that is fairly disruptive positively that would help us keep our eye on the ball about where we're going. And as we round this up quite elegantly, it's time for me to invite a member of the board of directors who in herself personifies elegance, brilliance, and the work that brings all the MSMEs together. Please help me welcome Mrs. Claire Omashe.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you will agree with me that the last few hours spent here have been well spent, very inspiring, very innovative, very informative. My job is an easy one, and that is really to say a very big thank you, because I can see that the hall is still full. That means that we've done a good job. But we couldn't have been here today and come to this end if we didn't have some special people in the room. Now, the first people I'm going to say thank you to are the actual entrepreneurs. If you're an entrepreneur, can I ask you to stand up for recognition? And ladies and gentlemen, can we give them a round of applause? Keep on the round of applause, please. You are the reason we are here. You are the reason why DBN was set up. You may be seated. Thank you for being here with us and for staying the ground. Now that's what it takes. It takes grit, it takes passion, it takes perseverance. And as we heard today, you are the reason for the season. Thank you very much for being here, all the entrepreneurs in the room. And I want to just ask you to stay the ground. The reason why we have this first inaugural lecture is because we want to continue to imbibe a culture of continuous learning and capacity development. And I'm sure you will agree with me that today has been time well spent. Now, also permit me to thank our very special speakers and special guests here, starting with the Permanent Secretary of Finance, Dr. Mahmoud Issa Dutse, who described himself as the obedient servant. It's very important. Without him, of course, we wouldn't have been set up in the first place. So a very big thank you to him. Also to our regulators, we had 2 deputy governors of the Central Bank of Nigeria. I'm sure that personifies the importance of what DBN is doing for the economy, and more importantly, the role that we do not take for granted that we have to do. We also have other permanent secretaries that have been here today, and we'd like to say a very big thank you for being here. Our special speakers, our keynote address speakers, Dr. Donald Kaberuka, unfortunately he had to go, but I think of all his 4 topics that he started with, I like the one Africa rising, Nigeria rising. Do you agree with me? So we need to make sure that the GDP increases more than the population, so there's work for all of us in this room to continue to do. And as Ndidi said, it is about strategic collaboration and partnerships. And we can assure you that the DBN is there to hold our hands as we go along. Dr. Mansour Mukhtar, the Vice President of the Islamic Development Bank. Sir, thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule to be with her today. I have summarized your lecture as a 7-point agenda for unlocking and aligning MSMEs in Nigeria. Your words of wisdom are very well appreciated. Thank you for taking your time to be here today. Can we give him a round of applause, please? We've had here several heads of government and extra-military departments. And you know, in government right now, there's a lot going on. For them to take time out to be here, we don't take that for granted. Thank you very much for all coming here. Dr. Alhaji Mutalab, who was described as the doyen of banking, Islamic banking, was here throughout most of the lecture. Thank you very much, sir, for coming. The DG of SMADAN, who's doing a fantastic work in helping with capacity building and keeping MSMEs on the back. Sir, we're most grateful that you're here today. The DG of Raw Materials and Research and Council, very, very big thank you to you. I'd like to also say a big thank you to the captains of industry, to who create the value chain to which our MSMEs are providing byproducts and final products to. Thank you for taking time to be here today with us, because this is something that's very important. Now, DBN wouldn't have been here without several organizations coming and partnering with the Federal Ministry of Finance. And these are the World Bank, the African Development Bank, KfW. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for all being here, and for your kind words and your tremendous support, both to the management and the board of DBN. We are very grateful for the catalytic funds which you have provided. I want to reassure you that we'll continue to partner and grow the equity base of the bank as we go forward. We have our strategic partners, the MD CEOs and staff of our participating financial institutions that have been here and have set up stands outside. And I encourage most of the entrepreneurs in the room to please have a look at each of the stands and see which of them you'd like to partner with. I can assure you that any one of them, you will be getting the best quality loan in the shortest possible time, and your businesses will thrive and grow. So please let us give all the participating financial institutions and our other colleagues in the developmental space. We have some development finance institutions in the room. A round of applause. The EOC department of Bayes University, the diplomatic corps, especially the deputy head of mission of Germany. Thank you very much for being here today, madam, and for your kind words that you shared with us about the role that development banks play and have played in Germany, and that we are trying to follow suit in Nigeria. To our able chairman, Alhaji Yahaya, I'd like to say a big thank you to you for your leadership, exemplary leadership from the top, for your inspiration, for your way you lead the board, and to the committed board. I'd like to ask you at this point in time, all the directors of the Development Bank of Nigeria, to stand up for recognition. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Philip Sodozua, Andrew Ali, our MD, the chairman, Dr. Alo. You see, it's old age is catching me there. And a new director, you're most welcome. Thank you very much for your time and talent. It's an incredible amount of work that goes on to making sure that we have a successful bank at this stage. And I'd like to say thank you on behalf of the chairman of the board for your time and talent that you continue to give to growing the board. Now, to our media partners, we couldn't be here today because you continue to put us in the news in a positive light, identifying the challenges that face MSMEs, but also working with us to develop policies that will help to unlock the potentials of the private sector and MSMEs in Nigeria. Thank you very, very much. Now, my final point really will be the highlight of today, which is, I'm sure you will agree, the words of wisdom, the experience that were shared by the last panel that we had. We had 5 distinguished panelists, chaired and moderated by our own Professor Nana, who did a pretty good job. Didn't he do that? Let's give him a round of applause. To Dr. Ekpo for sharing with us some of those macroeconomic challenges that face MSMEs and your words of wisdom on making sure that we have blended learning for capacity building. Thank you very much for sharing your words of wisdom. Amal, where are you? Where is she? Amal, you have been an inspiration to me personally. Most importantly, that you say Nigeria has got talent, but not just by that, that we have a high demand for Nigerian talent. Can we give ourselves a round of applause? I'd like to especially thank you because you shared with us things that most people don't talk about. You told us about failure 4 times and you still continue to persevere. and you rose. So Africa is rising, Nigeria is rising, and Amal, you've made all the difference today. Thank you for being a source of inspiration to the young ones. I wish I could say we young ones, but I think I've passed the stage of we young ones. But honestly, your words of your experience was really nice to hear, a breath of fresh air, and the truth and honesty that you shared with us was really incredible. To my dear sister Ndidi, always an inspiration listening to you. You've always given everything, your passion towards helping and developing and passing on that talent. The Harvard degree, Harvard will be very proud of you, but you pass it on to others. Continue to inspire us. I can assure you that on behalf of the board of Development Bank of Nigeria, we will continue to partner with our other financial institutions, development institutions, the developmental partners, and MSMEs, and generally to make sure that we make a difference in the healthcare, in the MSME space. To Yemisi, your story was another one that was very inspiring. You know, that from a little dream that you can, with a lot of hope, with passion, and with determination, and putting a business plan together that you can grow your dream into reality. Thank you for sharing your story with us, and thank you also for reassuring that access to finance and providing financing to MSMEs can make all the difference. To my brother, Banky, I call him, Peter Bankole, always an inspiration. He told us about misfit, but most importantly, he told us that if you don't disrupt the status quo, you will be disrupted. So I think the challenge in this room for us is that we need to bring in innovation, we need to bring in new ideas, we need to collaborate with one another, and the Entrepreneurial Development Center of the Lagos Business School is doing just that. So keep up the great work. I want to reassure you on behalf of the board and management of the Development Bank of Nigeria that we will continue to strategically partner with institutions like your own to make Nigeria a great place. The MSMEs are the defining difference that will take us to the next level. We'll make that difference. So on behalf of my chairman and the rest of the board, I thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules for being here today. God bless you all as you go back to your various destinations. Thank you.